Hello, everybody. This is Howard the Teaserking coming to you with Week 17 of the NFL. Had a very strong week last week. 3-1 of my locks. I had New England having to win at home against Buffalo even. See, the spread makes the lock. If that spread, they were laying 14 points, I couldn't lock the game. But at 7 down to 1 or 6 down to even, all New England has to do is win. That's what makes it a lock. I have a friend who asked me, well, how do you determine a lock from a strong play, from an average play? And I go, a lot of it's point spread. Most of it's matchup. And then how the teams are in their roles. Well, New England at home is very strong. New England against Buffalo is very strong. And you had the right point spread. That's a lock. New England's going to win. New England kind of gets up because they've been to so many Super Bowls. They sleep through half of the year. They play the Jets. They play Miami. They could care less, and then they get the big game, and then that's when they really get going, and that's when they wake up. So New England first lock wins. Seattle got two running backs injured. I was surprised because they play Arizona fairly well. They're at home. They were laying 3.5. At the end, you could have laid 2.5. But they had so many injuries. And this is why you got to watch the injuries. Now, even though Russell Wilson played, you lost two running backs, and they have 4 or 5 defensive players out. Clowney and a couple of cornerbacks. So they're not the same team defensively, and Arizona had the right matchup for it. And I knew Arizona would give them a game, but I knew I'm only laying 3.5 at Seattle. Seattle's been a lousy home favorite, a bet against home favorite. But they've been playing very good teams. Baltimore, New Orleans. Now they got Frisco, the Rams. So they've been playing very good teams at home, and I just thought they had to win for the 1 seed. So now I'm betting who needs it for the 1 seed and the buys. So it makes the betting a little bit, not easier, but you got much more motivation. Third lock was Kansas City over the Bears. KC wants the bye, and they beat New England, so all they got to do is tie New England, and they get the bye. So they were playing, and they kicked Chicago's butt. And I knew Chicago wouldn't be able to stay with them. Mahomes, as long as you got Mahomes going, he's like Brady. He's going to win the game for you. And then the fourth was Green Bay over Mini. Green Bay in the series plays Mini very well as the dog. They play very well in Mini. The key with these divisional games, they play each other twice a year, so they're familiar with them. They know a lot of their plays. And then you had Dalvin Cook out and Matheson out, both running backs. I couldn't believe the line didn't move. All right, so with Cook, the line's probably still set. What are you going to make the line, 14 if Cook plays? So I thought that line was ridiculous. They gave no credit to Green Bay. I understand that because I don't know the coach on Green Bay. It's his first year. I don't even know if he's coaching the team. They have a good defensive coordinator, and you probably got Aaron Rodgers as your offensive coordinator. So probably he's just sitting in the background, doesn't do anything because he doesn't know what to do. I hate these first-year coaches who have never coached before. Very rarely does it work out. Even your guy at the Rams and your guy at Chicago, who are supposedly mastermind wizards of the offense, they're struggling this year. Once you see it, it's the NFL. They figure it out, and they know how to defend it, and then off you go. And now you got to go figure out how to make your superstar offense work, and you can't do it with Jared Goff and Mitch Trubisky and players that aren't very good. And that's really the problem with the Rams and Chicago is the quarterback choice have been poor. Goff I always thought was a choke. Kirk Cousins is in that league, the choke, any big game. So you can't bet the Rams in a big game. You can't bet Minnesota in a big game. Chicago, so they sell the quarterback, but I'm not buying it. Lamar Jackson, we have to wait and see. Yes, he beat New England. He lost to Kansas City. He does clinch against Cleveland, the 1 seed, but he struggled. First half, he was like 1 of 5 for 7 yards or something until late in the half. So Cleveland figured out something. My advice would be just play him like I would just blitz the cornerback on him all game. I'd have an extra cornerback. I'd have him come off the edge and just blitz him and hit him every time. That's what I don't care. I would just hit him, and that'll stop him. I would take his outside running away. let the running back go up the middle for 5 yards. That's fine, but I would not let the quarterback run outside there. And as far as letting him pass, if it's a normal passing situation, he's not going to do anything. He's good when I'm rolling out and I stop and I throw to a wide open receiver. But high school kids can do that. So I got to see him. Let's see him in the playoffs. Let's see him. I don't know if he'll get to the Super Bowl. I don't think he can beat Kansas City, to tell you the truth, the way they're playing, and they played him very well when they played him. New England will probably figure out how to defense him. Again, you just put the 7 defensive backs on the field, and some extra safeties who can also guard the run, and that's what I would do. And then let him run. He won't have speed. Right now, he's got speed on the defensive line, and he won't have speed on the safeties. So you'll nullify him, and then he'll have to throw, which you can't, to beat you. Anyway, so I got 4 locks this week. I got 2 in pro, 2 in college. Again, the 1 seed, 2 seed bye is definitely strongly looked at. You got to know that. Baltimore's got the bye. They've already clinched. They're resting. How do you bet that game? Then you've got New England and Kansas City going for the 2nd seed. So if New England wins, they got it. If they lose and KC wins, they got it. How do you bet it? Well, I think you bet New England. Now they're on at the same time. That's the question. If New England gets up 35-0 and Kansas City realizes New England's going to win, do they pull their players? Oh, we don't want to get anybody hurt. This is the unknown, or will they just keep playing until they got a comfortable lead? Because they want to go into the playoffs on a win. And that's up to the coach. If New England is losing, Kansas City's a lot, but you don't know that's going to happen, and I doubt it'll happen against Miami. Tennessee and Pittsburgh are the wild card, basically the second wild card. And Tennessee plays at Houston, and I don't know if Houston's resting their guys or playing. See, it's funny. The playoff teams you don't know, is Houston resting? Is Buffalo resting? Baltimore we know is resting. But the Denver-Oakland game, nobody's resting there. It's so weird. Everybody's playing. They're going for the win. So the lesser teams play, the better teams don't. So that's your thing, Tennessee, Houston. I wouldn't bet strong on Tennessee at Houston. Houston's a better team. They just beat them. And you're laying points. I kind of would not play that one for too much. Yes, Tennessee needs the game, but I don't think Houston's going to lie over. Lie down and take it. Pittsburgh's absolutely terrible. I don't see them beating Baltimore, even with the quarterback out and half the team out. I think that's an under game, actually, because I don't think Baltimore now can't score, but Pittsburgh can't score either. And I think it'll be a very low-scoring game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore wins with RG3. I mean, I can't trust Pitt. They just lost to the freaking Jets. They showed their mettle. In the NFC, pretty much all sewn up. You have New Orleans and Green Bay early going for the bye, the 1-2 seed. They'll be playing. They both, and it's good as they both will play. Doesn't matter if Green Bay's winning, New Orleans still will go after it and vice versa. Frisco, Seattle. It's Frisco, Seattle. They'll both play. It's for the division win. Frisco wins, they get the 1 seed. Seattle wins, I don't know if they get the 1 seed or the 2 seed or a bye or not. I guess it depends on the others. I think if Green Bay and New Orleans win and Seattle wins, I think Seattle's the 3 seed, and then Frisco's down to the 5 seed. Minnesota can't improve. Is there anything? Yeah, it's just the Giants and Dallas is really the only thing going. And again, if the Eagles could beat Dallas at home, they got the Giants, and that spread's only 4.5. I think that's, the Eagles own the Giants. They're 11-1 against them, 19-4 in the last 23 games played in the series. So for 10 years in the series, the Eagles own the Giants. The Eagles, I can't imagine the way they played Dallas, they're going to fumble to the Giants. Giants have a weak defense. Philly's strong defense. I think the game probably will be close, but I think Philly wins it. Dallas, I wouldn't trust with the 10-foot. I had two losers last week. I gave you Seattle was a loser. Dallas, Philly was the other loser. Dallas owned Philly, especially in Philly. Philly's all injured. They don't even have a wide receiver. And Dallas gets so outcoached that it's an embarrassment that Jason Garrett's an NFL coach, that their defensive coordinator is an NFL defensive coordinator. I mean, I could give you the Fresno State defensive coordinator and you'd do a better job. Or take the kid from Clemson. You know, if I was Dallas, I'd hire Ohio State's defensive coordinator. I'd hire Clemson's defensive coordinator. I'd hire LSU's defensive coordinator. Georgia. These teams have great defensive coordinators. They don't give up 14 points in a game. And then you got this guy, and he's given up. You know, what did they lose? 17 to 10. What was the Dallas Philly? 17 to 9 Philly. So Dallas doesn't even score a touchdown. That's bad enough. Their play calling sucks. Dak Prescott to me is not the answer. I think he's one of the reasons that they struggle so much against good teams. I don't know if he can read a defense. I saw at least 10 drop passes by the receivers, and I saw another 10 passes that were so badly thrown the guy's jumping for, or it's way behind him, or it's way in front of him. That's why you don't win. And if Dak Prescott couldn't go, Cooper Rush should have been the quarterback, and he'd have won it. He's a good quarterback from Central Michigan. They were very good with him. Sort of like a Dan Lefevre. Then you bring in that kid to win, okay? And he'd have won the game, I guarantee it. You can't have a quarterback that can't throw it. So here's Dallas laying 11 to Washington. I'm half tempted to take Washington with Alex Smith. You got to be kidding. Washington's playing good. The dog in the series is 10-1. Washington's 9-2. And Dallas is 11. See, Philly's laying 4.5, and Dallas is laying 11. I don't think Dallas will score 11 on Washington. I mean, what's going to happen now? They're going to, I don't know. Washington's defense is very weak, but again, how do you trust Dallas? I mean, it's just, okay, Washington is a bad team. Dallas should beat them 35-0 to clinch, and you still got to hope for Philly, but my money's on Philly. They just beat Dallas, and then I think they got the better coach. And in Washington, Dallas, I don't know. I honestly don't have a clue. Which Dallas team, the one that killed the Rams, the one that got killed by Philly, the one that lost to Minnesota, the one that lost to Green Bay, which Dallas team shows up? I just have no confidence in them to win. They're not winners. They have so much talent, and they don't know how to play call. They don't have strategy. They don't have good coaches. Vince Lombardi came to the Packers in 1959. They were 2-13 or 2-12. Gets rid of the players, keeps his players, and they in 1959 they were like 9-6. They were like 7-5 because they played 12 games back then. So they had a winning record. 1960, they lose to Philly in the title game, then they win 61-62. The Horning gambling 63-64, then they win 65-67 with Lombardi. Lombardi leaves 68, they're crap. 69, they're crap, and they're crap for 10 years. If Lombardi's there in 68, they probably win it again, right? If he's there in 69. You don't even hear of Joe Namath. There's no Joe Namath because Baltimore ain't playing them. Green Bay is. And if Green Bay's playing them, they're not losing. That's the difference. It's the coach. You have a good coach, you win. You have a bad coach, you lose. Dallas has a bad coach. Jimmy Johnson coaches that team. You think they lose to Philadelphia last week? Are you kidding me? I mean, that's really the whole point of it. It's the coach. You have a good coach, you win. You have a bad coach, you lose. He brings in his guys that believe in him, that trust him, and they go from there. Anyway, so that's the NFC picture. Well, you've got both pitchers. In the NFC, you're looking. There's still the 1 and 2 seeds are up. Frisco, Seattle. So many injuries. Please be careful. I don't even know. There's so many injuries. I don't even know if I can go over or under is a better play. If the quarterbacks are hurt, you go under, right? Because you don't have a good quarterbacks are playing. They're fine. That's the really screwball part of this. You got Russell Wilson, and you got whatever the 49ers quarterback is. I don't remember. Garoppolo. So that's not the problem. The problem is the secondary's banged up. The linebackers are banged up. The running backs for Seattle are banged up. I don't know what you get out of whatchamacallit. I can't think of the Seattle running back they just signed. I'm drawing a blank. The Whammer. How good can he be after being out? Well, he's well rested, let's put it that way. I think game shape, he can probably take 10 carries before he's exhausted and then getting beaten up. So, I don't know. Or Marshawn Lynch. I don't know how much you can count on him. They got a third stringer, which you can't count on him at all. So what they need to do is do what Philly did. They need these short passes to the tight ends, these little swing passes to the right. You can't hand the ball off. You've got to throw short tight end receiver passes, running back passes, and control the clock that way to have any chance. Your defense is just missing so many players. Now they probably will try to play with pulled hamstrings and groin injuries and rib injuries and all that. And the same thing with Frisco. They've got 6, 7 guys who couldn't play last week. Are they going to play? So it's just a mess. Had the game been everybody healthy, then it's a lock. Seattle plus the 9 would have been a lock. Or they probably would have been favored, and Frisco plus 9 would have been a lock. That's a game, you love it. It's tease the dog, and there's where you get the gold from. But here, I honestly have no idea. And it's not going to be easy for Frisco to walk into Seattle and win, as Seattle's a home dog. If Seattle's the favorite, I'd love Frisco as the dog because Seattle's a weak home favorite. But Seattle as a dog, I had to go back to 2015. 2008, because they haven't been a home dog in 10 years. They're 3-0 as a home dog since 2011. So I go back to 2008, and they were like 25-2 as a home dog. So they were a home dog a lot, 8, 9, 10, 11, I guess. And they were like 25-3. They're a great road dog, we know. So Seattle's a great dog. This will be maybe like the Dallas-Philly game where you think Frisco's going to beat them, and then Seattle gets the W. This is not a game to me to play. I can't even figure it out over under. This is a game you watch but not play because there's too much risk with too many injuries. So let me get to my play that I'm going to give you. And that's going to be the New England-Miami game. Now I got New England minus 15.5. And you know how I hate playing big numbers in the NFL. But I don't have a choice here. Let's go into the numbers. Miami, road dog this year, 5-2, 9-6 overall, 5-2 against, 12-3 overall against. So you're betting against Miami this year, you're winning. New England 6-1 as a home favorite, 12-3 overall, 6-1 against as a home favorite. That loss being the Baltimore loss. Kansas City, they lost to them too. Maybe they lost at Baltimore. Maybe. I don't know. But I got them 6-1. I got them 6-1. Maybe one of the Baltimore KC maybe weren't at home. If they were, that it's an error. It should be 5-2, but I don't think so. If I go to 18-19, Miami 8-7 as a road dog, very bad. 12-3 against, 80%. 25-6 overall against, 81%. And keep in mind, Miami's getting double digits most of the time. New England 15-1 as a home favorite. 26-8 overall, so they're very strong at home. Go back to 17. Miami getting all these points, 13-10 road dog. Means they get blown out a lot. Bet against them 19-4, 83%. So 19 out of 23 Miami's the road dog. You bet against them, you win since 2017. 38-9, 81%. New England, 22-4, 85% as a home favorite. So there you have it. I go into team versus team. New England scores 26, gives up 13. Very strong defense. Miami will have a hard time scoring in this game. Brady throws for 260 a game. They run for 104, but that's short passing running. 366 total yards, which is about the best in the leagues. Baltimore 421, Tampa 420. No, Dallas 435 is the best in the league, which shows you how meaningless that stat is. And Atlanta at 400. So really, the total yards doesn't really mean as much as we would like it to mean. Miami scores 19 a game, gives up 31. You got Fitzpatrick as the quarterback. They throw for 250 a game. They have no running game, and it's 324 yards. I look at the quarterbacks. Tom Brady, 255 a game, 22 touchdowns, 7 picks. Typical Tom Brady, 61%. Just so you know what the standard is. He throws 61%. Miami, Ryan Fitzpatrick, 61% also, 229 a game, 19 touchdowns, 13 picks. Too many picks. And really only 19. He's played in 14 games, and so only really 19 touchdowns. He'll get hot, he'll get a touchdown or two. Running attack. Sony Michel's run for 838 yards. Miami doesn't have a running back who's got 500 yards. When I look at the season series, as I said, New England and the favorite are 10-1 in New England in this series. So New England at home dominates Miami. I know they have trouble in Miami. Most of the time this game is played in Miami and New England's resting, so it's really skewed up trend anyway. This year it's New England. New England needs it for the 2 seed. They win, they're the 2 seed. The line's high, 15.5. Teaser World, we go down to 9.5. So I can't lock it at 9.5, but I can play it at 9.5 because I know they need it, and I know they're going to come out. Now the biggest key for me, it's Miami. Like the Cincinnati game, you have a team with a very weak defense. That's what you want. Brady will pick this defense apart. They really shouldn't bother him too much, so they'll score a lot. You got their defense, probably a couple of picks, a block punt or something. I look for a 33-7 game for New England here. I think they score comfortably and get the lead and then sit on it. I think Miami is going to have trouble moving against this defense because it's a playoff game for New England. Miami's, hey, we're playing Washington and we're playing the Jets and we're playing Buffalo, and they're not playing anybody. So they're not playing playoff caliber teams and games. Here, this is a playoff game right here. New England, this is a playoff game for New England because they know how important it is to get the 2 seed, get the bye. Their goal is to win the Super Bowl. They win Super Bowls, so they know how much has to go into it to win it. They're not going to fall asleep. They're not going to let them come back in like other teams. They're going to jump on them and just blow them out because they need the 2 seed. And they know how bad they need the 2 seed. Brady needs some rest. Everybody, they just don't want to get hurt. Well, it's not even getting hurt. They need the rest, so they want to win, and they're not going to, they're going to go after the jugular, and they're going to do what New England does. And in this case, they own Miami. So you have the perfect, they're 10-1 against Miami in New England. Plus, by the way, they want the 2 seed. And by the way, Miami's defense sucks. Gives up 31 a game. So you have everything going. Well, it's not like they need the game, they're playing Baltimore. Or they need the game, they're playing KC. Or they need the game and they're playing San Francisco or New Orleans, where, man, I don't know if we can get it. It's a tough team. Here, they need the game, and they're playing, a cupcake. They're playing Akron, and off we go. So think of it as an Alabama game. Play New Mexico State, basically, is what this is. So take New England. Lay the 9.5. I gave you at least 6 other games in here I walked through to play. Keep in mind, like again, I'd stay away from Pittsburgh, Baltimore unless you go under. Be careful with Tennessee, Frisco, Seattle. We got to see. If I see everybody on Seattle's playing, then I'll play the dog in that game. But I mean, both running backs I know are out. All three. I mean, their top 3 running backs are out. So I'm not. I don't see who's going to come for Seattle to make me want to play that game. Like I said, there's better games. So anyway, so I got 2 locks going. So you can buy the regular week. You can pay the $250. It's a good week for the college. You got a lot of good college bowl, plus I give you the playoffs, plus this week, plus all the NFL. Or you can just buy the week for $135. You get, you'll have a very good week of a lot of good college bowls. I got a college lock going and the pro lock going. So it's a good week to buy. There's, I don't know, like 10 or 11 college games. Like the playoffs are in the middle. I think that's tomorrow, and then you'll get the, and then you'll get the lock and the playoff and everything else. I'm gonna talk playoff in my college video. Anyway, so if you just want the week, it's I think $135 for the college and the pro. $250 buys you everything till the Super Bowl, and that's like 5 weeks of bets. 2 more weeks of bowls, plus the playoff, plus this week of the NFL, plus the 4 playoff weeks through the Super Bowl. So it's a good bargain. Anyway, yes, you could buy just the week. You can buy just the pro. You can buy just the locks, whatever you want to buy. So I hope you had a good Christmas. Happy holidays. Again, let's look at cashing again. I'm very comfortable with my picks. I can add a few. If I hear guys are sitting out, all I know now is Baltimore. I don't know if Minnesota's sitting out. I don't know if, I know Baltimore. I don't know what's going on in Buffalo, Kansas City. I know they're going to play, but if New England jumps out, will they rest them? And then the Frisco-Seattle game. All right, everybody. Well, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year coming up. And this is Teaser King again. www.teaserking.com. I've one guy I played he's in a college tournament or something where you rank them 1 to 41, and I gave him all 41 picks there. So I will help you with other picks that I don't play, and I don't play them because maybe there's injuries, the coach left. What do I want to do with him? All right, everybody. Have a great holiday. www.teaserking.com.